name is Betsy Cagle, and today we are going to be talking about tricky tactics, how tobacco products are advertised to youth. I'm with the Tobacco Prevention and Control Branch with the Alabama Department of Public Health. So let's start out with a little quiz. Take a look at the products on this screen. Can you identify which ones are tobacco products and which ones are mints? Did you guess the two in the middle? The two in the middle are actually dissolvable tobacco products. It's a relatively new product that users can eat like a mint, set it in their mouth, and it will dissolve. How about this one? Can you identify which one of these is not a tobacco product? If you guessed the third one, you're right. The third one is actually beef jerky. However, it's packaged just like the other tobacco products so that the user can stick the canister in their pocket and make it look like a tobacco product. So a young boy can put it in their pocket and make it look like their uncles or their daddies or their big brothers. So looking at these packaging at first glance, can you tell the difference between the tobacco product or the candy product? How about these? The ability to attract new smokers and develop them into young adult franchise is key to top brand development. This is from a report from Philip Morris in 1999. Tobacco advertisers are constantly trying to figure out how to attract new replacement smokers to replace the ones who have either quit smoking or have passed away from smoking. Did you know that 9 out of 10 smokers who currently smoke cigarettes started smoking before they could buy them? And 80% of underage smokers purchase the top 3 heavily advertised brands. Tobacco companies know this, which is why they target their advertising to preteens and teenagers. How old do you have to be to purchase tobacco products? In the United States, you have to be at least 18 years old to purchase a tobacco product. In 46 out of 50 states, plus the District of Columbia, you have to be at least 18 years old to purchase tobacco products. In Alabama, Alaska, New Jersey, and Utah, you have to be at least 19 years old. Several cities in New Jersey and several counties in New York have raised their tobacco legal age to purchase tobacco products to 21. And the state of New York considered changing their state law to say that you had to be 21 years old to purchase tobacco products in their state. However, that did not happen. Unfortunately, the youth of America skirt the system in a variety of ways and end up with tobacco products in their possession. We've been asked by our client to come up with a package design, a design that's attractive to kids. While the cigarette is geared to the youth market, no obvious attempt can be made to encourage persons under 21 to smoke. The package design should be geared to attract the youthful eye, not the ever-watchful federal government. This was in a letter from 1970 from an advertising agency to a professor whose class was helping them do some research on tobacco advertising. So obviously this has been going on for a very long time. So let's take a look at tobacco advertising through the decades. Starting with the 1970s. Here's a couple of examples. You have the Newport Pleasures. You've got some young-looking kids hanging out on a cold day in the house, having a good time. You've got the cool guy saying, I don't smoke to be like everyone else, I'm my own guy. Obviously, these are geared towards a younger audience because tobacco companies know that older people are brand loyal, they know what they want to smoke, they're not looking for a new product. So they try to make these ads appealing to the younger eye. Here's some more examples. You've got the cartoon with the pirate and the parrot. You also have the Marlboro Man, who was, an American icon for several years, appealing to the younger generations. In the 1980s, you've got the Lucky Strikes, you've got the Salem Spirits. Once again, very youthful looking. These ads say to kids, look at us, we're cool. If you smoke these, you'll be as cool as we are. Here's some more from the 90s, another Newport Pleasure, young co-eds hanging out on the beach. You've also got Joe Camel, who was very popular in the 1990s. And then we've also got this ad. This was for Virginia Slims. this was a contest where readers could match the model from the cigarette ad to the date when, or the year that their ad came out. Clearly not an advertisement geared toward older women. This is obviously aimed at their younger counterparts. So in 1998, the advertising heyday came to a screeching halt with the Master Settlement Agreement. In 1998, after Florida, Minnesota, Texas, and Mississippi had settled separate lawsuits with tobacco companies, the other 46 attorneys general from the states entered into an agreement with the 5 major tobacco companies, which were Philip Morris, R.J. Reynolds, Brown and Williamson, Lorillard, and the American Tobacco Company, that settled ongoing Medicaid lawsuits to recover tobacco-related healthcare costs, required tobacco companies to make yearly payments to the states, which will total $195.5 billion by 2025. It ordered the tobacco companies to publish their internal documents, which can be found on online libraries. The University of University of California, San Francisco has an extensive library that's open to the online library that the public can access these documents. It also created the American Legacy Foundation, which is a public education program to prevent and discourage underage tobacco use. One of the big things they did was the Truth Campaign. You're probably familiar with these ads in the late 1990s, early 2000s. They're real fun campaigns, hard-hitting facts. They did some with jingles several years ago, but they're very appealing to the youth. The major thing that the Master Settlement Agreement, other major thing, was the advertising restrictions. They eliminated billboard advertising by tobacco companies, prohibited the use of cartoon characters, which meant Joe Camel could no longer be used. He was probably one of the most popular cartoon characters used. Prohibited the sale of brand name merchandise by tobacco companies. Prohibited brand name sponsorships for concerts or events in which contestants were under the age of 18. Limited sponsorship to one in a series annually, or for events such as a racing series. Limited free product distribution to locations where children were not allowed. Restricted non-tobacco gifts with tobacco purchase to adults. So like you couldn't get a free t-shirt in a child size if you bought a pack of cigarettes. Prohibited non-tobacco brand names such as Harley-Davidson cigarettes. Reaffirmed prohibition of tobacco product placement in movies and on television. So tobacco companies could no longer couldn't have a pack of cigarettes sitting out, in a scene in a TV show for product placement. Like I said, the major one was the no more cartoons, and that meant no more Joe Camel. They couldn't use Santa Claus to advertise cigarettes, no more penguins singing songs, that kind of stuff. So, post-Master Settlement Agreement advertising. Obviously, it was a lot different from what people were used to seeing. Here's a couple of examples. You can see they're a lot more streamlined, a lot more graphic. At this time, their graphics on computers were a lot better, so they could go different avenues with their advertising. This was a very popular ad in the early 2000s, the Camel No. 9 campaign. It was aimed at women, obviously, and you can see why young girls would think this was a very attractive ad. You've got the pink, you've got the swirls, you've got the flowers, everything that a young girl would be looking at in a magazine. I think what a lot of people didn't realize, this was actually a 2-page ad. You had the picture of the cigarettes, and then you also had on the same page, on the other page in the spread, you had the dress, the shoes, the jewelry, with the idea that if you smoke these cigarettes, you can be this glamorous girl and wear these kind of things. In 2009, the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act was signed into law by President Obama. It gave the Food and Drug Administration regulatory authority over the content, marketing, and sale of tobacco products in the United States for the first time. It required tobacco companies to disclose all of their ingredients in their products, which was something new, had never happened before. And it further limited tobacco advertising. Tobacco companies can no longer claim reduced risk in advertising any products. They can no longer classify products as low, light, or mild. They can no longer have flavored cigarettes. The only flavor allowed is menthol. It's just one of those things. They just left that one flavor. Keep in mind this only applies to cigarettes. It doesn't apply to the smokeless products. It doesn't apply to the little cigars and those kinds of things, just the actual cigarettes. Also, some more of the advertising packaging provisions, no brand tie-ins with product purchase, no free samples of cigarettes, no outdoor cigarette advertising within 1,000 feet of school, parks, or daycares, no sponsorship of sporting events or cultural events of any kind. If you remember, the Master Settlement Agreement said that they could advertise or they could sponsor events that were geared for the 18 and over crowd. The last one, the FDA got the authority to determine if a tobacco product could be marketed to promote public health, such as nicotine gum or patches. The one provision of this law that got away were the larger graphic warning labels that would have been required to cover the top half of front and back of cigarette packages. This would actually put the United States on par with Brazil, Australia, and Canada, who have really graphic warning labels. It was considered to be an infringement on the free speech of tobacco companies. So this one did not happen. However, they're working to come up with some kind of a compromise to get this message out on the packages without taking away the tobacco company's right of free speech. So let's talk a little bit about the next generation of tobacco products. Because tobacco products have changed so much lately, and kids need something new, they need something fun, something interactive. Tobacco companies are trying to keep up with that. One of the most popular is SNUS. It is a spitless tobacco pouch. It looks just like a tobacco pouch that a smokeless tobacco user would use, except the user does not have to have something to spit in. They simply swallow it. Pretty gross, but it's easily concealable. A kid could actually keep this in his pocket in school and teacher wouldn't know. The packaging is really colorful, it's small, they're put in these little tins that look just like a mint tin. So most people would not second guess seeing a package of this somewhere. Another product are the orbs, and this is a dissolvable tobacco product. This is what was in the quiz at the beginning of the presentation. They're about the size of a Tic Tac. The user just puts it in their mouth like a Tic Tac and it dissolves and they get their nicotine hit. A couple others, Camel sticks or Camel strips. The sticks are just another dissolvable product. The strips actually look just like Listerine strips, just brown. Same idea though, you put it on your tongue, it dissolves, you get your nicotine hit. This is actually the latest packaging on the dissolvable line. You can see they look just like a mint tin, and like I said, most adults would not second guess seeing something like this, in the possession of a kid unless they looked really, really hard at it. One of the newest innovations, if you will, of cigarettes is the Camel Crush cigarettes. It's interactive, so the smoker can light up and then they squeeze the filter and this little ball with menthol flavor explodes, giving them a rush of menthol. So if you think about it, how many established smokers really think, oh, I need to run out and get this new product? Not many. Clearly they're trying to pull in this younger generation of kids, this is cool, you want to do this, so they're using products like this. So, what's the solution? How do we keep these kids from starting, and how do we keep them from smoking? First of all, we can decrease the opportunities to smoke in public. We can decrease the point of sale advertising, increase excise tax, continue to increase awareness of the dangers of the dangers of tobacco and secondhand smoke. So, decreasing opportunities to smoke in public. In Alabama, there are currently 23 cities with 100% smoke-free restaurants, bars, and workplaces, and many other cities have a combination of the three. In the United States, as of October 1st, 2013, there were 26 states, commonwealths, and territories that had 100% smoke-free workplaces, restaurants, and bars, along with 593 cities across the United States. One of the other options is decreasing the point of sale advertising. Point of sale advertising is actually the advertisements that are found on, near, or next to the checkout counter. They're used by companies to entice customers and often result in impulse purchases by those customers. It's actually illegal to have self-service tobacco products, meaning those that are not behind the counter. And that's so that you can decrease the likelihood that a young person could steal the products. Tobacco companies actually used to pay to have their products in places where kids could pick them up easily without mom seeing them, and the tobacco companies would reimburse those stores for the missing products. So the stores didn't mind if they went missing. New studies have actually shown that decreasing the amount of advertising consumers see decreases their chance of purchasing tobacco products. So in this picture, can you spot the point of sale advertising? Remember, those are the advertisements that are on, next to, or near the counter. There's actually 6 different examples in this picture. You've got the big Marlboro sign up at the top. You've got several other cigarette advertisements. You've actually got some pouches that are on the counter, but they are behind other products, so technically those are not self-serve because they're behind the counter. The other thing we can do is increase cigarette excise tax. Right now the federal excise tax is at $1 per pack. And remember, this is just on cigarettes. The average state cigarette excise tax in the U.S. is $1.51 per pack. In Alabama, we're much lower than that. Ours is only 42.5 cents per pack. And the last thing we can do is increase awareness. The World Health Organization sponsors World No Tobacco Day every year in May. And their theme this year was actually to ban advertising by tobacco companies, or ban the tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship. So they did a lot to increase the awareness that this was a problem. 50 years ago, people didn't know that secondhand smoke contained over 7,000 chemicals, that 250 of them were harmful chemicals, and 69 of those were known to cause cancer. This is why 54% of adult males smoked regularly in the 1960s compared to 22% currently. As you know, social norms have changed. Smoking is no longer seen as acceptable behavior in most public places in the U.S., and most people do not like smokers smoking near them. That's just how kids are raised nowadays in most places. So, be aware, because your candy might not actually be candy, and that looks can be deceiving. Be on the lookout for imposters, because things aren't always what they seem, and a package of mints might not actually be a package of mints. It may actually be a tobacco product, because someone might be trying to trick you. These are just a few of my references that I used. Here's some more. So I want to thank you for listening today. Just a little story. This picture you see right here, these are actually cigarettes. My 3-year-old cousin found these laying on a college campus just on the ground. She started playing with them, and we thought she was playing with crayons. But like I said, they were actually cigarettes. So just be vigilant. Look out for products that may not actually be what you think they are. Thank you.